Hunter's on the warpath. The target, same as the commies.
I'm not running for anything, so I can say whatever the I want. And here's what I think. I think Chuck Schumer's a piece of and that he my dad over. Nancy Pelosi at the time also was involved in that, and so I don't have anything nice to say about her.
We're not fans
and you know
of
what?
Nancy.
And I'm supposed to be the guy that says, oh, but you know what? What for what Nancy Pelosi has contributed to this country and to the Democratic Party? I'm not supposed to that, man.
Biden Jr. slashing attacks are drawing blood. Schumer's already wounded, and Hunter's laying the wood to him on Barstool. That's going to get traction with young men. The Democrat Party can't afford to lose any more men. More on that later. Their generals are being disrespected. The revolution's coming right at them.
Trump has turned it into the single most profitable scam of his. Please sit down. Please sit down.
How dare you talk about corruption? How dare you talk about corruption?
Thank you for your diatribe. Now, let's continue. Let's continue and let the people didn't come to hear you.
The Hamas wing wants Chuck's head on a platter, and Hunter's bringing the machete to the fatwa. The party stabbed his dad in the back but left the son alive. The mainstream media won't put him on. He's banned. And being banned makes you look dangerous, and danger sells. He's a threat to the machine, and he's not a communist. He's carving his own lane.
You know who stood with my dad? 100%. Black Caucus, Hispanic Caucus, the Progressive Caucus, all of the constituent parts of the Democratic Party, which are the base, whether you like it or not. But, you know, didn't stand with him? The editorial board of the New York Times, the Pod Save America guys, David Axelrod, Rahm Emanuel, all of the technocrats of the Democratic Party that don't have any feel or touch for the actual people that actually organize and vote. But they speak for them all the time. So that part did piss me off.
Respect is everything in politics. But when you lose power, you lose respect. So the party's dragging Joe's name through the mud because it cost them.
People want fighters. I think President Biden and Kamala Harris lost the last election because nobody believed that they were fighters. At least they believed Trump was a fighter. He'd fight with a fire hydrant just for the fun of it.
Hunter Biden's a scrappy cat. A source told me a story about him. He was walking with his brother Beau on a college campus. Some guy poked his head out of the second story of a fraternity house, started yelling at Hunter, "F you, your dad sucks." Beau said, "Don't do it, Hunter." Next thing you know, Hunter runs to the house, climbs straight up the facade, grabs the kid from his collar, throws him down from the second floor window, and just pounds him. That happened so fast, no one even knew what happened. And then they went to the bar. The Democrats could use someone with some animal instincts.
And as it relates to Donald Trump, him, his sons, his daughter. I mean it, all of them, the whole family, down to the grandchildren. I hope for the rest of time that I am on this earth, that their names will live in ignominy.
Democrats are banking on a bruiser. That's not Mamala. And knee pads, never been in the ring with anybody legit. So the party is so weak, it's a turnoff. A new Quinnipiac poll says only 20% of men approve of the Democratic Party. It's basically a bachelorette party. They're loud, little annoying, and spends everybody else's money. You can't win an election without men. Sorry to break it to you, but we're half the vote. Kamala, AOC, guys don't go for that. You can't forget about the fellas.
If you're a Teamster driving a truck out of, up in Lackawanna County in PA, is that, you can vote for Joe Biden because he's probably just as confused as you are about transgenderism, and he's not going to shove it down your throat, okay? And he's going to support your union, and he's going to make it. But really, I think people miss that about that. Like, this focus on 0.2% of the population is insane to me. Like, leave him be, man. Like, Jesus Christ, must be hard enough already. Just leave the be.
Hunter wants to throw woke overboard. Pennsylvania is the Keystone State. It's the key to the Democrat comeback. When Democrats win it, they win the White House. Scranton Joe Jr. gets it. And so does Senator Shrek.
Do a bunch of people sit around the room and say, how much kind of crazy
we cram into our platform. And now it's like, oh yeah, let's abolish everything.
When a child is 3 years old, you know what their favorite thing to do is? Break stuff. They like the sound it makes. They like watching the pieces scatter, hear it shatter. It's fun. It's cause and effect. They're realizing that they have the power to break stuff. Makes them feel good. They like breaking better than building. Communists are at that stage developmentally. They want to abolish the presidency, the Senate, Pentagon, police, prisons, and of course, ICE.
I think that ICE should be abolished and that the people at the head of this agency and the people that are shooting people in masked, the ICE agents that are killing people should be prosecuted and held accountable under United States courts of law. Let's be clear about who we're ascribing criminality to.
Communism's pretty simple. It's just turning everything upside down and watching it break. It's a revenge against America. They want to arrest the man and open up the prisons.
Would you like to have criminals out in the open?
Well, do I want criminals out in the open? Sure. I'm fine with that because the idea of a criminal is like a little bit funny to me.
Let's just say somebody who has raped a woman.
Totally.
Would you like them to be out in the street?
I think my answer is yes, even though that's a challenging answer to say.
When Joe Schmo comes out of prison after serving his rape sentence, commie Chris Rob You Blind wants to hand him a paycheck for his hard work.
In Pennsylvania, they earn 19 cents an hour for the same work folks do outside. And how are victims going to get their restitution from incarcerated folks if those folks on the inside who's supposed to pay them back are getting 19 cents an hour?
This is what the Obama-Biden party has come to. They lost the men and are trying to win them back. Not really. They're replacing them with migrants and communists.
Let me tell you, labels, of course, are being thrown around on both sides. I look for progressive values that I have supported over the years and continue to. There are some who are more aggressive than others. Progressives are joining us in this effort, and we need them.
He said it. They need them. They'll take anything or anyone. You know people like that. No standards. People with no standards have no self-respect, and they get walked all over. That's what we're watching. Now, the only way to get respect is to earn it.
I want your viewers to say how much I love to watch Israel eliminating the Hamas leadership.
Then you may like this.
I know that upsets a lot of your viewers and a lot of your founders.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's a great thing. The question is, where does your trash outlet come from, and who's funding it? And now you're sticking a microphone in my face. So,
it's not in your face. Are you okay with Prime Minister Netanyahu being in the United States?
I love killing Hamas leadership.
Say what you want about Fetterman, but he has strong principles, and he sticks to them. You can disagree with how he feels about Israel, but you always know where he stands, and you respect it. The man's not a weasel. That's why he's a big threat to the left. He's the only one holding the line. That's why they want to put his head on a stake. But Big John's been laughing it off and going on offense.
If someone is frustrated in the Democratic Party, I would be frustrated with someone like Bernie Sanders. Really? Bernie, you have no regret endorsing and proud to stand with an accused rapist, a guy that roughs up his ex-girlfriends, a guy that had a Nazi tattoo on his chest? Some of the things that are outrageous as a Democrat are coming from people in this party, and it's not me.
For far too long, Democrats tiptoed around Bernie Sanders and then had the superdelegates just kneecap him in the dark. Sooner or later, the Democrats are going to have this fight under the bright lights. And Bernie, he wants that smoke.
I would not put too much credibility in what somebody like Fetterman says.
He said you should sit this out.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
So you think I should take his advice? I probably won't. So John, I'm not going to take your advice.
Think about it. This is Vermont versus Pennsylvania. Which state do the Democrats want to side with? Now, Fetterman's from Braddock, a rundown town that saw all its factory jobs move to China. That's a base the party needs if they want to win. But the Bernie bros and the commies, that's not their cup of tea. They're a bunch of wackos with grad degrees. They spend all their money on Grubhub. They're lazy and they're entitled.
people are like, oh yeah, well, I'm supposed to have that. Well, I deserve that. Well, why don't we have that? Don't we have that? Shouldn't we have that? Who gets that? And then it's like, oh, okay, well, that's democratic socialism.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.